I played the Black Ops 7 campaign, and I'll admit, it's fucking bad. And I even did made a tweet going over, like, my honest opinion about it, and I kind of want to separate this in a few parts. We got the gameplay, the story, and endgame. And I'll admit, I think this campaign, just by my honest opinion, it's not a great campaign. It's not the worst, it's not the best, but it's not great, for to say the least. Now, before this video begins, I just want to point out that this is not harassing the developers. This is more of me saying, like, hey, I do not like this campaign, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts about it. Also, please do not bash me in the comments or bash anyone in the comments. You're allowed to make opinions, but bashing someone in the comments is really rude, and just harassing them or bashing them for no reason for what they like or dislike is very unacceptable. So please be nice in the comments. Please, and also give your opinions as well. I would like to hear them. And also, please subscribe, leave a like, press the notification bell if you want more videos like this, and leave a comment down below. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Now let's get to the gameplay. I will admit, the only things I really liked about the gameplay was the boss fights. That was kind of it. And I also loved the wall jump. That was it. But other than that, this gameplay is just, it basically takes Blackout and Warzone put into a fucking campaign. And I'll tell you right now, it is by far one of the worst games I have ever played, even on solo. And I'll even admit, on co-op or solo, you don't pause. You can't have a pause. You don't have a save and quit. If you save and quit, or leave the campaign, you're gonna need to redo that whole campaign mission all over again. And if you die, you respawn at the nearest checkpoint, pretty much. But then again, this campaign, gameplay-wise, did not feel like a Call of Duty campaign. It just didn't feel like it. In my opinion, I think it went down the Warzone route, and I'll even admit, it's one of the worst campaigns I have ever played, and I'll even say right now, I would give this, like, I would say I'd give it a 3.5 to a 4 out of 10 gameplay-wise, but after playing it again, I'm giving it, like, a 1. And I'll even admit, I don't hate Call of Duty campaigns, but I will say it right now, this campaign was worse. Gameplay wise, it was worse than Modern Warfare 23. It was worse than Modern Warfare 22. It is by far one of the worst campaigns, gameplay wise. And I'll even admit, it was fucking horrible to play it. And again, I'll give like some credit here, but I think the only good part about it was the boss fights. But then again, there's like some boss fights that are fucking idiotic. Like, what the fuck moments. But again, I don't think this campaign should have been in development whatsoever. And yes, I do agree it does make a difference, but people don't like that in campaigns. They do not want the open world missions in campaigns. And don't even get me started, but BO6 did a way better job at gameplay because it only had one open combat mission, but the other missions were freaking good. That was it. The other campaign missions in BO6 at least felt like a COD campaign. BO7 didn't feel like a COD campaign. It felt like Warzone in a campaign. It felt like Modern Warfare 23 but worse. And again, not hating on the developers, but this campaign, in love of God, that they don't do this campaign ever again. or well, this style of campaign, because I'll even say it right now. Black Ops 6 did a way better job at this campaign, or well, at being a campaign than BO7 did. But that's what I gotta say. And like I said, I would rate this now a 1 out of 10 gameplay wise. And the tweet I said, I would rate it like a 3.5 to a 4 out of 10. But after playing it again on co-op makes it fun, or well, more fun. But playing it solo, it just gives me a 1 out of 10, honestly. But co-op, I would say, like, if you're playing solo, it's a 1 out of 10. But co-op, it's a 3.5 to a 4 out of 10, honestly. But the only issue I have with this campaign is, like, if they added the CPU bots of our teammates in the co-op campaign. If they added a pause. If they added save and quit. If they add some checkpoints that were good enough, then this would have been a better campaign gameplay-wise. It would have been. I would even tell you right now, it would have been a better campaign gameplay-wise. But again, they went to the open combat bullshit full time, which sucked ass. And I have to give it a hand to Modern Warfare, at least with the third one. They at least made campaigns, or well, this campaign in Modern Warfare 23, to have linear missions and open combat missions for the most. But open combat missions in that game were not as bad as BO7, is all I'm going to say. At least they had different environments, and yes, there were some environments in that campaign that was based off of Warzone map, Urzikstan. But then again, at least with their open combat missions, they were at least unique for that mission. But with BO7's campaign, it's all in Avalon. And you know what? I think Ghost of Hope was right. This whole campaign they were doing, that was going to be fully open world, was stupid. I'll say it right now, it is stupid. Not blaming anyone here. I'm just saying the gameplay was stupid. Anyways, let's get on to the story. Now, y'all might hate me for this, but I kind of like the story. It's not the worst, it's not the best. It's mildly average, or well, kinda bad too. And I'll even admit, I would say this story is a 6.5 to a 7. But after replaying it, like solo, it's still the same, but I would say after playing it again, it's a 5. Just a straight up 5 to a 6. It is by far, and I mean it is by far, worse than BO6. And I'll tell you right now, it is better than Modern Warfare 23. Honestly, that story in MW23 was so fucking awful. But BO7 does a bit better, but not by much. And I mean not by much. It is still as bad as Modern Warfare 23. But it is a bit better. Just a bit. Not that much. And I'll even admit, I think the people who developed this, which was Raven by the way, I don't think this was fully made by Treyarch. I think since Cold War, Raven took over making campaigns for Treyarch. And people said, oh no, Raven actually has been co-developing it. Yes, that is true. But here's the thing. Treyarch only does the zombies and multiplayer modes when the new Modern Black Ops game comes out. That's the thing. It's only Treyarch who only does multiplayer and zombies. Raven does their campaigns. And I even did say in my video last week, I wanted BO7's story to be good, but the way that it was handled in BO6, it was, awful. And I'll even admit, BO7's story is way worse than BO6. BO6 at least had a story. But I will admit, the only positive is that Emma Kagan felt like a villain in this game. A little bit. Jane Harrow, in a sense, people say, oh, she's a good villain. In that game, she was not even that really good as a villain. But in BO7, Emma Kagan felt like a villain. She was a villain in the story. But she barely got any development time into it. But her as a character, I think Emma Kagan is a pretty good villain. Not as good as, Menendez, but she's better than Jane Harrow. But again, Emma Kagan, in my opinion, is a good villain. I would even say she does a better job at being a villain than Makarov and MW23. But again, this is just my opinion. And also, like I said, even though I liked the story in BO7, BO7 just didn't feel like a sequel to BO2. It didn't feel like a proper sequel. For example, both Harper and Karma are alive. That should not happen. If Harper is alive, Karma should be dead. If Karma is alive, Harper should be dead. So forth, so forth. But no. They apparently made it canon that both of them are alive, which, how the fuck does that even happen? Which again, this makes me realize that this wasn't written by Treyarch. This was fully written and developed by Raven. Which again, I'll even get to the other part, but as the story went on in this campaign, it just made no sense. Yes, I kind of like it more than MW23, but if I had to rank, the 3 worst Call of Duty Black Ops games, which is BO3, BO4, and BO7, campaign-wise, BO7 is better than BO4, and BO4 is kind of better than BO3, and BO3 is that campaign story was awful, but I will tell you right now, and this is just me, but hear me out. BO7's story, even though it's way better than BO3 and BO4, I will say that if you mix all 3 of them combined, they are by far the worst stories in the Black Ops series. And I'll even tell you right now, even though I did say it was a 6.5 to a 7, I would say it's mildly average. And the rank, if I rank it as a story, I would give it a C. I would give it a C. I won't straight up give it an F. But story-wise, I would give it a C. A mid to low C. Because let me be real here. Modern Warfare 2022 was by far one of the way better Call of Duty campaigns, story-wise. It was by far one of the best. And yes, I get it. People said, oh, but Modern Warfare 22 wasn't really the best. Well, honestly, it was. Because, one, it had story that actually made fucking sense. 2, I know it wasn't as good as the original. But, here's the thing. I think this campaign as a whole, MW22 as a whole, it's way better than BO7. And I'm sorry if I'm comparing both Black Ops and Modern Warfare, but it kind of shows that this campaign, and I mean BO7 as a whole, as both story and gameplay, it shouldn't have been made. Which I'll give it to the endgame part in a minute, but still. I don't think BO7's story is the best or the worst. It's average. It's mid. And I'll even tell you right now, BO6 does a better story than BO7 does. And BO7, it's a sequel to both BO6 and 2. It's not a proper sequel to Black Ops 2. It honestly isn't. It just feels like they just copy and pasted the Warzone map Avalon and just made shit up. That's how I feel, honestly. And again, I don't think this is the worst story, but this story is not the best. And I thought it was going to be good too, but I guess I was wrong. Again, I'm going to say it right now. After Raven took over the campaigns for Treyarch, and people would say, actually Treyarch wrote them, I doubt Treyarch has been writing their campaign since Cold War. I'm saying it right now, I doubt it that Treyarch has been writing their campaign since Cold War. I think that was all Raven. Straight up. Now, do I think Treyarch is probably going to lose sales from this? Probably so. But I will say it right now. I just wish Treyarch would come back and do their own campaigns from now on, instead of Raven. Like, literally. Raven should not have the lead role as campaign developer anymore. I don't care if they do Warzone, because I think that's the only art direction they only have, is big Battle Royale maps or Warzone. That's literally the only thing they only are good at, is Warzone. But then again, Warzone nowadays has been shit by them. But then again, I don't want Raven to do the campaigns anymore. I don't. And I'm sorry if I'm being rude to Raven or Treyarch, but I don't think this is really Treyarch's fault. It's Raven, and Raven should be fucking ashamed for what they made. Both gameplay and story-wise. Because story-wise, even though it's better than the gameplay a bit, the story wasn't great. It was average. Mid at best. But I would even say that's just me being too fucking nice about it. Do I think there's a good retention in this campaign? No. I think the only good thing that you only get after completing the campaign is endgame. And I'll even let you know right now, when we get to the endgame section. But I would say endgame is a better mode than campaign. Campaign this year overall, if I have to rate both the gameplay and like story combined, I will admit it's a 1 out of 10 for me. Like, straight up. I'm being too nice, but if it wasn't because of endgame, it would have been a 0. But still, this campaign is a 1 out of fucking 10. And this shows that Raven needs to get off of the campaign development side of things and just only do Warzone. I don't care if they do Warzone, but they've ruined the Black Ops saga. They did good with Cold War. They kind of did good with BO6. But BO7, they don't need permission to make Call of Duty campaigns anymore. They need to get off of the fucking campaign development team and work on Warzone. Because I swear to fucking God, they ruined Black Ops 7's campaign and the fucking story. I am sorry if I'm being mad. And this is not hate on the developers. This is me of how pissed off I am at Raven for fucking it up. But anyways, I'm sorry for the rant. But let's move on to endgame. Now honestly, I got to admit, endgame is by far a fun mode. I think the only good modes in this game is multiplayer, zombies, and endgame. Yes, there are updates coming to endgame, and we might get endgame at season 1, but I don't think we will. But then again, you can join your friend if they complete the campaign and they're in endgame when you haven't even completed the campaign. So that's a plus. And I even will say it. The gameplay fits in this mode more than the campaign. I think endgame is a good mode. The mode actually feels great, and it actually feels like it was made by Treyarch. It doesn't feel like it was made by Raven. It feels like it was all made by Treyarch. But when you go to the campaign, right, like I said, it doesn't feel like Treyarch. But coming into endgame, it feels like endgame was made by Treyarch, honestly. But I will say it right now. Even though endgame is really fun, there are some issues here and there. Like, for example, you kind of do lag in the mode, which is obviously fair. It launched, it's a bug. But anyways, look, I don't think endgame is a bad mode. I think it's by far one of the best modes I've ever played. There are people on the internet saying that, oh, BO7 as a whole is a fucking bad game. It's not. I think BO7 multiplayer and zombies wise, it's freaking good. But anyways, I'm out of time. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.